Ibrahim Mustapha is a highly sought after figure in the world of public speaking, with over 30 books and years of experience as a coach, keynote speaker, and author. He has established a reputation for delivering dynamic and engaging presentations. This, combined with his work with prestigious organizations such as Astana Expo, World Economic Forum, and Google, has earned him a place among the most respected names in the industry. However, Ibrahim's impact extends far beyond the world of public speaking. He is also a philanthropist at heart, actively supporting numerous charitable projects and working tirelessly to make a positive impact in the world. Whether you're looking for an inspiring keynote speaker, a skilled public speaking coach, or an expert in the field, Ibrahim Mustapha is the perfect choice. Don't miss the opportunity to book him for your next event and discover the difference for yourself. With his expertise and passion for public speaking, Ibrahim is sure to make a lasting impact on your audience and make you a great speaker. Hi, thank you very much. My name is Ibrahim Mustapha, and I specially welcome you to the IMTalkcast, where we talk about and share experiences with great people. And our team is Visionary Voices. So today we have a wonderful guest. He's an inspiration, he's a motivation, and he will inspire you to know that yes, it's possible. No matter your situation, no matter your condition, you can be of heights to do greatest. I believe in you, and I'm bringing you this special edition of this man, the man with a vision, the man on a mission, Ken Brandt. Welcome. Welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me. Great to be here.
Right. Thank you very much, and thank you for coming. And you are a man of vision. You are a man on a mission. And I just want you to tell our audience who you are and what you do so that we kickstart.
Okay. My name is Ken Brandt. I'm an author. I wrote the book Positive Vision, Enjoying the Adventures and Advantages of Poor Eyesight, which is literally what the book is about, adventures and advantages. And I've spent, in terms of my background, I'm very nearsighted. I've been nearsighted my entire life. I've had 6 eye operations. My vision has gone up and down and up and down, always pretty poor, but sometimes much worse. I was legally blind for large parts of my life. Of the 6 operations, 2 were cataract operations and 2 were detached retina operations, 1 in each eye. And I just think that, people should not let any issues with their visions impact negatively on what they're doing. You should just go out and have a great time and look at poor vision as an adventure, and as some people get older, their vision gets worse. And so a lot of people are heading into this land of adventure and, read about it a little bit, learn the advantages, learn about the adventures. And I think you're going to enjoy life a lot more.
Wow, this is inspirational. So he literally, we will say that he has, can we say literally you are blind?
No, I was legally blind for most of my life, but now my vision is better. Still, 99% of the people I know see better than I do. My vision is 20/80 in my good eye and twice as bad in the other eye. So, what a normal person with average 20/20 vision can see at 80 feet, I have to be 20 feet away to see.
Wow. But let's talk about what you've birthed into the world. You've brought a book, you've authored a book. Maybe you talk about that book and why you especially took time to write that book.
Well, I spent the vast majority of my life not wanting to talk about my vision at all. I thought it would be bad for my career, or And so I just didn't talk about it. So I did, lose one job because of poor vision, which was, very annoying. But generally, I didn't want to bring it up because I didn't want extra help for things I didn't need any help for. I didn't want anybody feeling bad for me. But then I retired, and I'm retired now. I thought, I've got a whole bunch of sort of funny and adventurous different stories that people like hearing about over a cup of coffee or a drink or dinner or whatever. And I said, why don't I just put them all together in a book? And that's what I did. So I actually enjoyed writing the book a lot. It was fun. I was lucky. I had a great editor. I was very lucky. I'm married to a graphic artist who could help with the cover and the design of the book and everything, which was fabulous. And I worked on it. I got some coaching from friends who I let read advanced copies and, took their ideas. And so between all of that and, I wrote it and it, it came out and it's been doing slow but steady. It just keeps selling. So that's really fun. It's one of those books that doesn't expire really, that it's not like a technology book or a medical book where, science and medicine advance and technology advances. It's not about that. It's about the challenges and adventures and fun of living with poor vision. Now, I'm not at all saying that poor vision is better than good vision. Good vision is absolutely better. I'm just saying if you have poor vision, which tons of people do, you should be aware of and sort of celebrate in your own mind the advantages of poor vision. It's not all negative. There's some good things, and you should enjoy them. So that's my thought there, and it's available in hard. There's the cover, very nice. Thanks for showing that. It's available in hardcover, paperback, ebook, and also audiobook, which is actually narrated by me, so that you can hear my voice telling the stories of the book.
Wow. So on your screen, you can see the positive vision by our own good friend, author Ken Brandt. And like he mentioned, there's a Kindle version, audiobook, hardcover, and paperback. You can get all of this.
You can basically get it everywhere that sells audiobooks or books online. So all the big places plus many, many, many little places. If they're an online place, they'll have it for you.
Great. This is powerful. And like I said, this is a man on a mission, and he sees the positive where many people see the negative. And I'm quite interested about I listened to a lot of like the YouTube. I watched YouTube and I saw some of the interviews you've conducted and some of the podcasts that you appeared on. And like, I'm actually inspired of some of the words. And what's excites me is, and it makes me happy, is that you talk about how you see having the challenge of your vision as an advantage to you, and how it has helped you to do some things in life that can you touch base on that a little? Because many people see that as a negative, but you see the positive in that.
First, of course, do everything you can for your overall health and vision. Work out, eat right, get checkups, go see an eye doctor. If your eye doctor recommends anything, go do that, but most people reach a point where, okay, everything they could possibly do, they've had whatever glasses or contact lenses or operations or whatever the case may be. They've done that. They're at their peak. My vision is not going to get any better. It's going to stay the way it is. And many people are in that same situation. So, all right, you're there. That's just part of your life. Get used to it and figure out ways to enjoy it. don't dwell on, well, life would be better if, I could see much better, or, but that's true with all kinds of stuff, and it doesn't depress me, like what if you had super hearing or super strength or whatever, it's just, you don't. So, just enjoy it. Everybody has the one body they have, do the best you can with it and go for it. So I say just figure out whatever you really want to do, no matter how good or bad your vision, and give it a red hot go. You might make it, you might not, but it'll be fun trying. So there's all kinds of examples of, I think, like some of the advantages. For example, one that's very much in your sphere. You're an expert on public speaking. You've done all kinds of coaching and teaching and a massive amount of public speaking yourself. But one thing that a lot of people don't think about is you can consider there's some advantages to having poor vision and doing public speaking. Now, first, a lot of times you're on stage and there's all these lights on you, and you can't see the audience, even if you have great vision. Well, if you have great vision, that might make you a little nervous because you're used to seeing everybody you're talking to. Well, not people that have poor vision. We're used to judging the audience by, are they clapping in the right place? Are they laughing in the right place? Are they talking when you're hoping they would listen? You're judging the audience by those kind of factors, as opposed to facial expressions and seeing what they're actually doing. So you have a little advantage if you're in a situation like that where the lights are in your eyes and nobody can see, and then none of the speakers can see the audience. You also have the advantage of possibly being less nervous than others, because if you can see the audience, and you have good vision, you're going to be looking at your boss, your client, your potential client, your family, your friends. What are their reactions? You're going to be focused on that a little bit, and maybe a little nervous about that. But if you can't see it, you just keep going. You're rambling along, and you're doing the best you can, and you're hoping it's good. But you're not distracted by looking at that kind of stuff, because you can't see it. So a lot of people, as are terrified of public speaking. Many people, given the choice of public speaking or death, will pick death. It's amazing. They're scared to death of public speaking. But if you have poor vision and can't see the audience that well, you've got a couple of advantages there. You're used to it. The other thing is, you have to, not just tend to, you have to prepare in some ways better than most people, because I can't really see my notes when I'm doing public speaking. And if I'm turning around to look at a PowerPoint, or the PowerPoint's over there someplace, or whatever, I still can't see it that well. So I've got to really practice what I want to say, have those concepts down, have the examples down, so that I can just roll through them and, just be relaxed. I'm not looking down to see what the notes are. I'm not looking sideways to see what the PowerPoint is. I can avoid those things that speakers should avoid doing if they can help it. Also, the audience appreciates all that, because, you're looking at them. You might not be able to see them, but you're looking at them, and you're not looking away. You're not distracted, all of that stuff. The one problem I sometimes run into, but it can work out anyway, is if I'm doing a PowerPoint presentation, I get out of sync with my slides, right? Only I don't know necessarily. So hopefully I'm not too far out of sync. But generally, after a while, I would hopefully figure that out. But then I just laugh and explain, I can't really see him that well anyway, and I got out of sync. But, in the meantime, the audience is paying actually closer attention because they're trying to figure out, why am I talking about this while the slide says that? So they're reading the slide and listening and thinking in a different way. And then I tell them I can't see it, and I laugh, and then they invariably laugh too. And you've brought them more on board with you. They can, they go, oh, all right, that makes sense. This is fun, So it's another little edge you have there as a speaker, which is pretty cool, So it's different. It's different than the general tips for speakers, all of which are applicable, of course. But it's a little tiny edge for people. It's an advantage, one of the advantages of poor vision. Could be nearsighted, farsighted, or whatever. So that happens. The other sort of the reverse of that is if you're in an audience and somebody else is giving a speech and you're watching that speech and they're using PowerPoints. Very sadly, 99% of people practically read the PowerPoint while they're giving the speech, which is colossally boring if the audience can read the PowerPoint. But being a nearsighted person, I can't read the PowerPoint they're talking about. So when they're reading it out, that works for me. I don't have to see it. I don't have to worry about missing what's on the PowerPoint because they're telling us literally what's going on anyway. So both as an audience, the good speakers are not doing that. So then you might miss something. But a lot of speakers are literally reading their PowerPoints, which is, they definitely need your coaching. But that's sort of the world of speaking in terms of poor vision.
Yeah, great. Wonderful. And I'm happy about your transformation, your speaking journey. And I think the last time we spoke was when you were finalizing the book and stuff. And now you've gone to do campus tours. You've traveled to different places to speak. But starting writing that book and speaking now, there's this kind of like feeling that most people have, which is fear. They're afraid to even publish a book because they feel like people will judge them. They're afraid to speak because they feel like people will judge them. Can you touch a little about fear and how you have overcome yours, if there's any?
I didn't have either of the two fears you just mentioned.
Yeah.
But I did have a different fear, which was, and I have like one paragraph like in the conclusion of my book about this, which was, many of my friends and relatives would, everybody knows you just, you look at me and one eye goes a little sideways and both eyes do if I'm tired. And it's very clear I'm nearsighted. But people didn't realize till I wrote the book, many people didn't realize how nearsighted I was. It's more extreme than they realized because I'm running around doing things. They knew I couldn't see well enough to get a driver's license, but they didn't really think farther than that. And that was fine because I never discussed it with anybody. So my fear was that people would read it who I had known for a long time, or people who would read it and then I'd meet them for the first time and, they would feel bad and they would try to help me with stuff that I didn't need help with. And you can't, you don't want anybody feeling sorry for you.
Yeah.
But also you don't want people, you can't get mad at people for trying to help you with something because they're trying to be nice, but, I don't need help seeing like some things, other things I do need help with, but it's, you don't want to open that whole thing up necessarily. And I was worried about that. And, that did happen a little bit, where, some of my relatives and friends are going, oh man, are you going out the door? Let me help you with that. And I'm like, stop. I'm still the same. My vision is not worse than I've known you for, decades, it's the same. You don't need to help me with that. I appreciate it. I appreciate you reading the book. I appreciate you thinking about it. And it's very nice, but you don't need to worry about that. So there was that fear was floating around, which I tried to address with that one paragraph, but there were a few people where that came up.
Great. Some time ago, was it on Clubhouse or one of the we spoke and you talk about a fire outbreak? I don't know whether you can still remember.
Yeah. I have two sort of fire-related stories in the book, and one is two good friends and I were going into a cave. We were exploring caves in West Virginia, United States. And these are not like caves where, it's tourist caves, and there's lighting and footpaths and guides or anything like that. None of that stuff. These are just caves for spelunkers who have, helmets with, hard hats with a light on the front. Yeah. And the light that we used was, had two chambers. There was water in the top, and the bottom half of the chamber had calcium carbide. And so the water would drip into the calcium carbide. It would form a gas, which was, coming out the front of that little lamp on the top of your helmet. And you'd light that, and that was the flame. So that's how you would see. So you're walking around with a flame on your head. So when you go into a cave and you go far in, if you turn off the lights, you have to be ready to turn them back on and figure out where you're doing and everything. But it's unbelievably dark. It's much darker than I've ever experienced, ever. Like if it's the dead of night and you're in bed and there's no stars, nothing, no moon showing, it's cloudy, whatever, and you get under the covers and you completely block off all light and you close your eyes, it's somehow darker than that. It's just your brain refuses to believe that it's that dark. Your eyes are trying to see stuff, even if you have poor eyes. But anyway, so you're in this place. And then what we were doing was one guy, one of my two friends, his helmet was running out of water. So his light was going off. So he takes it off and wait a minute. No, my helmet is running out of water. So I take it off. My two friends are facing me so I can use their light. And I unscrew the top, open it up, and I'm using my canteen to pour water in. Well, one of my two friends had never seen this done before because we did it for him when we were coming in. So he leans in to get a better look, right? And he leans in and sets, I used to have a lot of hair up here. He sets my hair on fire, right?
Wow.
So I don't, and it's very dramatic because in fact is total pitch darkness, and all of a sudden, so there I have two of my best friends, or all of a sudden, because I don't, as soon as it happened, I didn't feel it, except all of a sudden there's four hands, each of them are trying to smash out the, they're going like this on my head, trying to save me. But I didn't know what they were saving me for. And I'm going, what? They go, you're on fire. So luckily I'm holding the open canteen and I pour it over my head. And between them smashing, I did not, you can't tell from my head now, but I used to have a lot of hair and none of it was lost at all. And there was no burn or anything. Because, our hands were all muddy from crawling in the caves. And it was so it was more or less perfect. I finished filling up my helmet and, my friend said he was sorry for setting me on fire, which he genuinely was. And I thanked him and my other friend for basically saving my life. So, the pluses and minuses of friends right there, you know. So the other story is really about the fun and advantage of paying attention to all of your other senses in addition to sight. So people who have poor vision, your other senses don't actually improve, but you tend to use them more, so you get more advantage out of them. You just think about it more. Most people don't pay nearly as much attention to sound and smell and taste and touch as they could. You can enjoy life no matter what your vision is more by paying attention to those other senses as well.
Right.
And as evidenced in this story I'm about to tell you, it can also be a lifesaver. So one day, I lived most of my life in New York City, and now my wife and I live in Melbourne, Australia, but most of our lives we lived in New York City. And before I met her, I lived in a small studio apartment, very small. One studio apartment is one room. There's no separate bedroom. There was like one room, and then that included some kitchen stuff against one wall and a separate small bathroom. So the whole thing is really little. But I loved it. It was great. So I wake up one morning and I look across from my bed. I look at the opposite wall, which was only about, at the most, well, 3 yards or 3 meters away from me, right? And unlike every other time I looked at that wall, I can't see it because there's all this black stuff in the air. And I think to myself, I'm not paying attention to my sense of smell, right? I think to myself, wow, it sure is smoggy in here. I wonder what's going on. And then I roll back over and go to sleep. Then seconds or minutes, I don't know how long later, I hear my next door neighbor is doing a very good deed, which I should have been doing, but I instead rolled over because I wasn't paying attention. He's knocking on everybody's door going, fire, fire, get up, fire. And I'm thinking, and instantly I realized, there's never smog in here. This is smoke. There's a giant amount of smoke coming into this apartment. Like you can't even see the wall. I get up and get dressed, literally, I'm very sure, way faster than I've ever gotten dressed before in my life. So
Wow.
I go out and then I go out and I'm on the landing. We're on the 5th floor. So I'm standing next to my neighbor and I'm thanking him. And then a fireman is coming up the stairs, and he's on the 4th floor, and he's sprinting up the stairs, right? He's carrying an axe. He's got his heavy clothes. He's got his helmet. He's got an oxygen tank on his back. He's got his heavy uniform, boots. He's sprinting up the stairs. Now he's already up to the 4th floor. Now he's coming up towards us. And he says to my neighbor and I, he goes, just like this, not out of breath at all. Literally just like this. Could you two guys give me a boost over the wall to the other building from the roof? He says it just like that.
Wow.
I'm still impressed by that. So we go up to the roof, which is, we were on the top floor, so the roof is one flight up. So we go up one flight, and there's a brick wall between the roof of our building and the roof of the building that it turns out was on fire, right? Somebody had set it on fire. It was an arson. And so we give the guy, a boost over the wall, and he weighed a lot. I'm thinking, I'm glad my neighbor was here. And the two of us give him a boost. And his job was to start at the top of the building and smash holes in it so that the air and the heat could go out from the top while the other firefighters were fighting it from the bottom and from ladders with hoses and stuff. And so we hear him doing that. But now we're on the roof of our building. We're the only ones there. He's gone. So we go to the back of the building, and we look and we see what's going on, and we realize, all right, okay, our building is not on fire. There's an opening in back of our building where there's some little yards from many buildings, and the smoke is literally pouring out of the building on fire. Big, black, thick smoke, lots and lots of it, making a U-turn for some reason and coming through our building. So I go, all right, that's good. We're not, he would have told us to get out of the building if we had to get out of the building. So then I said, well, that was interesting. Let's go look at the front. So we go to the front, which is the side with the street. And there's, there's fire trucks, there's people, firefighters on ladders, there's all these people, and they're clearing the street and all this stuff. And we're looking out and watching. And then this one guy who must have been some kind of fire chief. He's wearing a white hat instead of everybody else wearing a red one. He's got a bullhorn, and he yells up to us. He goes, "You idiots, get off the roof and out of the building." Which he did have a good point there. So yeah. We headed back down. I did stop at my apartment and took a shower before going to work, but I figured I could do that really fast and I'd be okay. And then, so we get out, and it's just basically another little life lesson in, pay attention to your sense of smell. It can literally be a lifesaver. And, I should have been one of those guys warning like my neighbor, everybody else. And instead, I just rolled over and thought, oh, so is smoggy in here. So live and learn,
Wow. Great insights, great life lessons that we can all pick. Pay attention to your sense of smell. And
another fun things about sense of smell is just, I really like the idea of, there was a cook named Julia Childs, and she was I think the first television how to cook stuff before there was a whole food channel and cooking shows and everything else. But she always said that you can really tell when something is done just by the smell. You don't have to have a meat thermometer. You don't have to have, time it exactly and hope your oven and stove are at exactly the right temperature. You should be able to tell when something is done just by the smell. And I think that's a really good and fun self-test for cooking. It's fun to do. It's also fun, I think, to, if you're walking into a room where, somebody has just made dinner, or you're at somebody else's house or your own house, and before you look at everything, can you tell just by your sense of smell as to what it is you're going to have for dinner? You get better at it as you do it at both things, and it's fun. You enjoy the meal better. You enjoy the cooking better.
Wow, beautiful. So on our screens, you will see his LinkedIn profile, and you can follow
please.
him.
Anybody who sees this and wants to connect, send me a connection request. Please put a note in it saying where, how we know each other, which would just be you saw me on this great podcast, so I know, you're a real person and you came from somewhere.
Yes.
But I'd love to connect.
Great. He loves to connect. If you also have a university, a group of people, you want him to bring his book and do his book tour, talk about his book, his life lessons, you can connect with him to do that. He's now based in Australia, right?
I am, and I'm in Melbourne, Australia, but basically I go around to different parts of Australia. I also regularly visit the U.S. A year ago, my wife and I did a spectacularly fun, long round-the-world trip, and I did book talks in London, New York, Hawaii, one other place. London, New York, Hawaii. I forget one other place, and it was just grand. It was Edinburgh, which was also really fun. And just having the chance to talk to people about it. One of the things that's very, you know, in writing a book is you shouldn't do it for the money because, it's unless you're already a celebrity or you're a spectacular writer about something that everybody's interested in, you're not going to make a lot of money. It's mostly for the love of writing. But the other part of it that I really, really like is I love hearing, which I do regularly, from people that I've never met before, who's, or people I've met, but, especially heartening from people I haven't met, where they just say, I really like this book. I thought the jokes were funny. I liked the adventures. I thought the advantages were really interesting. And or my niece is, really has poor vision, and I gave her a copy and she really liked it. It cheered her up and made her happier about everything. Those kind of things, when you hear that stuff, it just makes you feel really good.
Great. So buy the book, and once you buy the book, you create opportunities. Believe you me, if you buy this book, 10% of this book, there's royalties. 5% each goes to Massachusetts Eye and Ear for eye research and the Fred Hollows Foundation for ending avoidable blindness. So if you buy this book, part of it goes to these two institutions to help them to also do researches and also reach out to more people who may also have vision impairedness or one or two challenges. So maybe you can touch a little about that to help people better understand.
Well, there are two really nice causes. The Massachusetts Eye and Ear Hospital is where I had both of my detached retina operations. And they're, one of the premier eye hospitals, and they do a lot of research and everything else. And, the contribution goes a little ways towards helping with that research. What there's always a lot being learned, and there's always a lot more to learn about, like how to actually help and what can we know about eyes. And then the Fred Hollows group, they run around, I forget the exact number, but it's like 25, 30 different countries, including Australia, where it's a bunch of doctors and nurses, and they go and they help people who are literally blind or going blind, but it's preventable. Like if they just had a cataract lens, if they just had certain medication, they could see again. And these are people that would not otherwise be able to afford it. And you're literally, they are literally changing lives. You help one person in a family that can't afford that stuff, and all of a sudden you've got another, productive member of the family who can go to school, who can work, who can do stuff, who can help other people, as opposed to somebody who has to be helped and because more than they would like. So two very different, but I think very good organizations. So I'm very happy to give, as you said, 5% of my royalties each, total of 10% to each of them.
Powerful. So he's giving back to society. He's giving back to where it belongs, and he is giving back to make sure that others also benefit. Those who can't afford also benefit through the researches and through all the opportunities that these two institutions are creating and making it possible for them. My name once again is Ibrahim Mustapha, and you're watching or listening to the IMTalkcast, a motivational podcast where we talk about inspiration, we share experiences, and we bring you visionary voices, people changing the world one step at a time. And this program is kindly supported by Magas Homes. So if you want to construct a house, if you want to do construction, buy lands and stuff in Ghana or any part of Africa, you can reach out to Magas Homes. And also, we have I Am Store, which deals with kids writing tablets and stuff. So you can reach out and you can get the kids tablets that you want to create more opportunities for your kids to do more. You can stream this live on LinkedIn, live on YouTube, live on Facebook, and also all the platforms that we talk about when it comes to the opportunity to listen to a podcast, be it Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, and also my radio station, which is the I Am Radio station, I Am Radio, which runs 24/7. So let's go back to our boss man, the big man.
You are everywhere. You're everywhere. It's great.
Thank you very much. It's the technology that we have, and we can use. We just have to use that to do more. So, share. Maybe you've done a lot also. What is the best advice you've ever had from anybody?
The best advice. I would say, and I find this more difficult than I should, but try to be nice to everybody, no matter what. Even if you completely disagree with them and they're doing something stupid, try to figure out a way to deal with the situation while still remaining a nice person. Very not easy to do, but and I'm not totally successful, but I think it's a worthwhile goal.
That's good. That's great. That's great.
So, I realize that has nothing to do with my book, but that's okay.
And in the book, there are some funny moments in the book. It's like you make it look funny and interesting and stuff. Yes, like I love the way you share your story, and the way you captivate your audience and make sure that there's that opportunity for them. Now, you've done the book tours, you've done the campus tours. What is coming? What should we expect now? Should we expect another book? Should we expect more tours?
I might write another book. I'm uncertain. I've got a couple of different ideas and deciding whether I want to do that or not. I might, when traveling, I try to organize like a book talk if I'm going someplace, if it coincidentally works out with a bookstore or some other place to give a book talk, that's nice. I want to, do stuff like this, which I really enjoy, meeting people like you online and, we're not meeting for the first time online, but, meeting publicly online. And I also, totally unrelated to my book, I really, I am publicizing it, but what I also want to do is, since I'm retired, I just want to concentrate on, staying in shape, working out. That's one thing. Second, I'm an aspiring jazz trumpeter, which is totally unrelated to my book also, although there's a little bit about music in there. And I just enjoy playing the trumpet and playing with other people, and that's really, really fun. So I'd like to get much better at that. And then and this is, of course, an easy goal, but I very much enjoy goofing off with friends and relatives.
Wow. Aniel asked you to play the trumpet because I saw in one of the videos you were holding it and it was very nice. I also love to learn that one day. I would love to learn that. Take on something.
Well, I think you should. You should do it. It's you could anybody can do it. Anybody can start any age. I'm not saying it's easy, but if you like it, it's really fun.
Wow, that's great. That's great. So very soon we are going to get into the apex of this interview, And I know you'd love to hear more. We'll be bringing him, if there's any progress, maybe in the near future, if he starts a foundation to help young people, to help people also with vision uh, challenges. And also, if he publish another book, the next day we are bringing him here. And also, if there's any book tour, we are going to surely bring you here to talk about that again. So he's part of the family, and you can reach out to him. Get in touch, contact him on LinkedIn. He says he's on Facebook too. You can reach out to him on Facebook and any platform that you can also get to listen to him more. Also, what I do is that I listen to him more on YouTube, because once you type it on YouTube or Google, you are going to see all the interviews, all the podcasts, all the things he has done online, and you get to take and get your buys from that. We're speaking to Ken Brandt, the author, making it possible in terms of positive vision. That's the man. So your final words, and this is my podcast, this is where you get to open your heart up, speak passionately, inspire the audience, let them know that it's possible. No matter where you are, whether you're in Australia, whether you're in Ghana, whether you're in Nigeria, whether you are in New York and you feel like you're stuck, something can come out of you. Let's go.
I would say the final piece of advice is a little bit of a repeat what I said earlier. It's like, no matter what your vision, do and no matter what your health, or no matter whatever other issue you might have, do as much as you can to take care of yourself, follow the advice of doctors, eat well, work out, all of that stuff. But you get to a certain point where, all right, that's as good as it's going to get. That's as good as your body's going to get, right? Well, don't let that ever bother you. Just there's your starting point. Whatever you want to do, whatever it is, don't do it casually. Don't just sort of wander into it. Give it a red hot go. Go for it. It's so much fun. You're like, it doesn't matter what it is, just go for it. And if you make it, great. If you don't, it's probably going to be a great ride. So that's what I say. Give it a red hot go.
Wow. Give it a red hot go. Believe in yourself. Keep pushing and do what you are supposed to do or what you can do. Thank you very much for honoring this invitation. This is the IMTalkcast, and we are done with the man with a mission. We call him the positive author, Ken Brandt. Thank you very much for coming, and thank you for the opportunity.